YouTube, welcome to Upside DIY. So I'll probably coat this with, I can coat it with, or refit it just to see. I'll have to wrap it in plastic and then just to start over on a good mold. That's pretty cleaned up. I resurfaced it and things like that. So I'm gonna be working on just some of the molds. I mentioned about making those presses, and there's two more dental guards in there. So I made these plastic pieces. They're in a plastic, and it's like this. And I could actually use this within kind of having some this curved part and things like that to push down and give it a little bit of form. Maybe um, I can make something like this into some type of barrier. So I got this out. When sizes, or if I could have clear plastic and things, just trace an outline, mold and things. I could add teeth lines and better curves, basically. But just for now, I just want to try to get this silicone kind of. I mean, I could actually pretty much finished up and then spread it towards the front and let it dry and then have a test fitting. I just want to feel how the silicone feels, but before that, firmness. And all right, so I added the epoxy and it started to puddle towards the front a little bit. I think I added a little too much, but on this test it doesn't really matter how thick, just because and also if I do this eventually, I just want to give it a plate of epoxy to give it, it's a really thick layer or puddle that I put in. I'm just kind of mixing it up and things, and when it starts to cure and dry and stuff like that, I could use other spatula. Mixing it with epoxy, or using it to mix the epoxy, things like that. And then on where the channel should be, just to give it, just to give the silicone a lot more support. The resin, so it's starting to harden, I think. So now let's just work from so yeah, just in like a few, so in that short moment it started to, it just then I've got to use like a small, like a releasing agent, like a small spray bottle or something, a soap. Yeah, it's, you know, those are going to be not as precise as a finished product or your finished project or item. So that lotion in the front is keeping a little bit more of, but I just didn't want things to really stick too much. So this epoxy is actually kind of, you can feel the heat in it. You know, somehow it just starts to feel like it's like 110 degrees or something. Is really, it is heated. Things like that. I'll use toothpick. So I need to make a few tools to pry the mold open, or get the, or yeah. So, and then I've got this bottle of detergent spray. Hopefully I could remove a lot of stuff, or toothpicks. Yeah, I call them toothpicks. So I might or might not need a scraper if I sprayed a little bit of detergent. So I was able to pry a little bit with the toothpick at the glue line. Alright, so just kept prying, or just kept pulling on the barrier outwards, and then just spraying in a little of the detergent, things like that. I could, basically just because there's going to be some underneath here and there, and also give this the mold a clean, so that I could pretty much keep a lot of the material, the silicone, intact, basically, compared to trying to, or accidentally ripping it open and stuff. Could swoosh any detergents to the other side just to keep things more uniform. But the same thing, just pull on the barrier and pry it with the toothpick. So I guess so I used the other barrier as a small pry tool. Now it's started to come up unloosened. Alright, so the silicone is kind of shredded, as I mentioned. So yeah, so I could just kind of pry from the front. I could keep spraying it with the detergent and stuff, but you can kind of see. So the mold is, so it is what it is. It's got some of the teeth lines, basically. Alright, so I basically took everything to the sink and rinsed everything off. This is what I came back with. So I could remove a few of these items. So welcome back to Upside DIY. So the first part of when I was spreading the epoxy on this to make the plate, I could have skipped or did some of this part. I wasn't sure, just because this does need to have a dental marks where teeth will line up. So maybe after this plate, put it into saran wrap, and then add epoxy and mold it. Besides that, the Upside DIY. So now I'm going to basically I want to try to make the a little bit of a press. Since this felt really not really, but just a smaller size, basically, and it's kind of fragile. I want to be able to kind of use this to just kind of lay on top of any layer of silicone or epoxy, and press on it a little bit, just to keep things conformed and also more exact to the size. Eventually is what I'm also thinking, to pretty much get get a really tight fit. So I've got to basically coat this with epoxy, and then I should be able to, or spreading the releasing agent and then epoxy. So let me get some rubbing alcohol. So this is what I went and got: some paper or Q-tips, rubbing alcohol, and a small rag to wipe the stuff, to wipe it up. I think I'm going up. Just did a little bit of cleaning. Now I could apply some of this epoxy. Just try to do 3 sections, and it should be enough. Alright, so I applied some of the epoxy. I was hoping to go over everything, but alright, so that's coated on most of the bare silicone, there was just the epoxy on the other side, so I kind of uh, like at the plate area, first parts of the epoxy, and now I just epoxied everything else, and hopefully it just hardens up and you know consistency, things like that, and also getting used to handling a small object like this and stuff. It's really complicated. It might take a few more months to really figure out, you know, how things are gonna. So things did stiffen up a little bit with the epoxy that I just put on there. With that, I've got these plastic trays with random effects, paper clips, and stuff for some silicone or just small. There's a dental guard kind of working on trying to epoxy a little bit of this. So it's been 3 days straight so far and stuff. Been working with this silicone and epoxy, and I'm just going to add some epoxy on these two side pieces because it's not as thick, but I kind of placed it where I needed it. So it's going to act as some type of, it's going to have a good hardness to it. So just mixing up this epoxy a little bit. Just getting it on this side so that it's more work, more used to. Just going to add something useful, I think. And I could pretty much, have 2 or 3 tubes and preserve, other things as firm as possible, just because it's a good, and really want to stiffen it up, just to work with it, I guess, with this mold. And I pretty much could use plaster, different materials like plaster, um, construction grade plaster, or non-toxic stuff like that. Might be at hot glue. So if I see any hot glue and things and have extra money to things like that, I would consider using hot glue with the press and then just kind of pushing in a thin layer. So I'm slowly could work with this, with silicone and epoxy. The silicone and epoxy works pretty good. It's just the industrial stuff that I have. The taste, or it may leach things. I might have to, just working with this. I could it almost fits pretty nicely. Almost. It could use a little bit. I could basically like plastic wrap and use more epoxy and get it to really fit just right, even with the missing teeth. That's the main reason why I wanted to do this, because if I were to use the crowns and paper clips and things, it wouldn't be as of a comfort. So I needed to basically, uh, you know get in front of this project and make it like this, like a straight mold from a casting. So, and but the paperclip scenario, this, it has to be really thin. It has to be pretty much 1/3 as thick as this, and maybe work on making this look better and things, um, with just like 3 different sections. So section by section, just pure coating and things, or even when so talk to you guys later. Have a good day. I might use 2 different paper clips, and then embed them and things, and try to keep